Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
And thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus as we are moments away from taking you to a live news conference. Remarks from Georgia's very own Governor Brian Kemp weighing in on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, and more specifically the hostages that are caught up in between. So we are here taking you inside of the state capitol where the governor will step up to this podium and deliver his remarks. But this is centered around a family that has been pleading since 2023 for the release of their young son, 24-year-old Evyatar David. He was taken hostage by Hamas while attending the Nova Music Festival in Israel. His family today, alongside Governor Kemp, will be speaking out, continuing to call for answers in attention to hostage conditions, advocating for their son's safe return home. Again, the David family has been pleading since October of 2023 for the release of their son, who has been missing, and videos that have since surfaced, released by Hamas, have shown proof of life and hope for this family that their son may still be alive. So now Governor Kemp stepping in and calling on that release of Evyatar, as well as the other hostages that have been taken by Hamas. Again, we are moments away from taking you inside of the Capitol steps here, where you will hear from those family members. You will hear from the governor himself, who will be speaking. Now, earlier, just ahead of this, he met with the family to discuss the ongoing conflict and the hostage situation for them. And we are expecting to hear a little bit of that from the governor himself here in a few moments. This news conference called for 2:40 p.m. We are just a little after that here in Atlanta. So he is expected to step up to the podium any moment now, but you can see folks gathering, some of which will be delivering remarks, some of which are affected by this, as the governor really enters the room and gives his own thoughts, his own remarks and reflections on this, as he joins the family in calling for the release of Evyatar, calling for the release of Israeli hostages that have been taken by Hamas since this war broke out, since this conflict broke out 21 months ago. This is coming all at a time when Israelis Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and members of Congress to discuss the best way to address the hostage situation and the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. So Governor Kemp now weighing in, calling attention to this specific family, as well as the many others who are experiencing this same heartbreak, this same fear over the conditions of their loved ones who are hostages and really in the midst and caught up in this conflict. Now, President Trump has been pressing for a ceasefire really since this conflict broke out, and that has continued on, especially with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to the United States. So today, a day to call attention to the David family and call attention to the many hostages that are still, the families that are still waiting for answers, waiting for any movement that they can get their loved ones back safely and soundly. We are here taking you live inside of Georgia's Capitol, where the governor is expected to give his remarks any minute now. We are still moments away from taking you live to remarks from Georgia's own Governor Brian Kemp as he weighs in on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, and more specifically, the hostages that have been caught in the middle. In this room right now, the family of one of those hostages, Evyatar David, a 24-year-old musician who was attending the Nova Music Festival in Israel when he was taken by Hamas. Now, this happened back in October of 2023. The family has been pleading for answers ever since, especially as videos continue to surface showing their son, their loved one, alive in horrendous conditions. So the family has been advocating for his release and calling on lawmakers, calling on their representatives, and calling attention to people here in the United States, sharing the story, sharing the videos, the heart-wrenching truths of what these hostages have to go through. And now that has caught the attention of lawmakers, including our very own Governor Brian Kemp, who spoke with this family just moments ago and now is expected to share his own remarks and call for the release of Israeli hostages, just like Evyatar David. Now, we are still waiting for the governor to step up to the podium, and we will take you to those remarks live in full from him. We are also anticipating possibly hearing from the family themselves about the ongoing push to get their loved one released from the hostage situation. I mean, you can imagine the gruesome continuing relentless struggle that this family is going through since 2023, since October 7th of 2023, pleading and seeking answers as they get very minimal evidence of how their loved one, how their son is doing. So this family really taking it into their own hands to call attention to this situation, and not just for their son, their loved one, but for the hundreds of hostages that are now caught in the midst of this conflict that is now 21 months long. President Trump calling for a ceasefire really for the past several months to bring this war to a close, and I do believe Governor Brian Kemp now stepping inside of the Capitol, where we are taking you out live, expecting to approach that podium any minute now. The timing of all of this coming as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meets with President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and members of Congress to discuss ways to bring this desired ceasefire forward and end the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. So that really international news making its way to the steps of our capital here in the Peach State, here in Georgia, as Governor Kemp now delivering his own thoughts, his own reflections, and really his call to action after talking to this family and hearing their heartbreak and hearing what they are experiencing, as well as the many, many other families that have this reality on their hands, this unimaginable reality on their hands. We are expecting to hear from the governor any minute now as he takes to the podium. We will take you out full. We'll raise the volume inside of that room that you're looking at right now, and we will hopefully hear from the governor as well as the family that is present with him today.
and First Lady Marty Kemp, for all you have done and continue to do to support Israel in its defensive wars against Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the other terror armies of the Middle East, as well as to keep the release of Israel's hostages at the top of our country's priorities in the region. Thank you also to Anat Sultan Dadon, Consul General of Israel to the southeastern United States, who is here with us today. Anat will be transitioning from her post in Atlanta and moving back to Israel shortly. We deeply appreciate the Consul General's service to the state of Israel and to the state of Georgia. And a heartfelt welcome to Eli David, brother of hostage Evyatar David, and their cousin Matan Eshel, who traveled here from Israel to share Evyatar's story with us and to push for freedom for Evyatar and for the remaining hostages. My name is Bart Cohen, and I'm a fourth-generation Atlantan and a local business owner. I'm married to an Israeli-American, and my wife and I are raising 3 feisty young Georgians in Toco Hills. Governor and Mrs. Kemp, together with the Jewish community of Georgia and the rabbis and leaders who are gathered today, I wish to express our gratitude for the deep, historical, faith-driven connection that you and so many Georgians have with Israel, and for the support you provide as Israel struggles to defend its very existence in recent years. The Gaza hostage crisis is a dark chapter that must be closed so that the people of Israel and the region can begin to rebuild their lives and pursue the peace that we have dreamed of and prayed for so long. Pidyon Shvuyim is the Hebrew term for redeeming captives. Redeeming captives is a religious duty enshrined in the Bible, in the books of Genesis and Leviticus. When our brothers and sisters are held hostage, we are required to fight for their release and to harness our collective energy and prayers towards the cause of their freedom. All of the remaining hostages must be freed. This is not a political issue. This is an appeal to basic human decency.
Today, we will hear from Eli about his brother, Evyatar. Evyatar was kidnapped from the Nova Dance Party on October 7th, 2023, by Hamas terrorists. Evyatar has been kept for 643 days in brutal conditions in the dungeons of Gaza. My name is Eden Doniger. I'm the general counsel of a global tech company, which has its North American headquarters here in Atlanta. I'm also married to an Israeli-American, and I also have 3 daughters we're raising here in Sandy Springs. And Bart and I, and a few other Jewish Atlantans, including Aaron Diamond, whom a lot of the press here is familiar with today, we met Eli at an event where he shared his story in May. And we were so moved by his words, but even more so, we were inspired by his unending resilience and his hope in spite of his brother's horrifying circumstances, and how this crisis has destroyed his family's lives for almost 2 years. So with tremendous support from Benjamin Anthony of the Miriam Institute and his team, we pulled together a sort of small grassroots team to rally around Eli and Evyatar's family, their mother Galia, father Avishai, and sister Ayala, who've been traveling the world for almost 2 years pleading for help for Evyatar and all of the hostages. Our purpose here today, and in general as a team, is simple and clear: to raise our voices so that Evyatar's story is heard by political leaders and policymakers, by media personalities, and by community members, to push for freedom from brutal captivity for Evyatar and all of the hostages. Governor and Mrs. Kemp, you always encourage Georgians to rally around the causes we believe in. So thank you for making this cause your cause and for making our voice your voice. And to the members of the press who are all gathered here today, we appreciate you taking the time to listen and to share this urgent and painful topic. So Governor Kemp and then Eli, we're honored now to hear your voices.
Well, good afternoon. I want to thank you all for joining us on such a painful and solemn occasion. Bart, I want to thank you and Eden for organizing today's events and for being such tireless champions for our friends and allies in Israel. I too want to recognize our Consul General, Anat. You have been an incredible friend to the people of our state. You have been an effective and a passionate leader, someone that Marty and I have had the pleasure of getting to know over the last several years, both in peacetime and war. But also, most importantly, when visiting the country of Israel, you were such a great tour guide and host for us, so we appreciate you so much. I want to thank you for your hard work and your commitment. Because of you, the relationship between our two peoples is stronger than ever, and we will sorely miss your leadership as your time in this post draws to an end. So thank you again for all that you have done. Our First Lady, Marty Kemp, and I know that her good work, as is the case with everyone here today, is not finished. We still have a mission to complete, lasting peace to achieve, and separated family members to reunite. Today, as was mentioned earlier, we are honored by the presence of Eli David, brother of Evyatar, and Matan, Evan's cousin. Thank you both for being with us today, for your courage in sharing your loved one's story. Evyatar, like so many others, was an innocent non-combatant who was kidnapped on that horrific day that is now seared in our collective memories, October the 7th. And like the other hostages taken by Hamas in the Gaza Strip, they have been held in dark and horrible dungeons for over 640 days. They have been chained, beaten, starved, dehydrated, and emotionally tortured. Evyatar and his good friend Guy were taken together on that terrible day almost 2 years ago, and their families have not rested or been at peace for even a moment ever since. In a show of twisted psychological terror on February 22nd of this year, Hamas brought Evyatar and Guy out of the tunnels and made them watch the release of other hostages being returned to their families. The terrorists filmed their reactions, forced them to follow a choreographed script, and then returned them to the dungeons before broadcasting the video to the world. One of the photos that you see beside me is a still shot taken from that Hamas video. You can see yourself how beat down, malnourished, and tortured these two young men are. The other photo that we have today is of Evyatar, taken under normal circumstances before the events on October the 7th. You can see the incredible difference between the two images and the horrible toll this ordeal has taken on a life that really had just begun. These are the faces that we are here to remember today, but also in the days to come. We know that just this past week, President Trump hosted Prime Minister Netanyahu in Washington to discuss the hopes and plans for a ceasefire, discussions that continue as we speak. And we're certainly praying that this peace will come quickly and that all the remaining hostages will be returned to their families as part of that negotiated peace, including Evyatar. But until that day comes, whenever it comes, I'm here on behalf of all Georgians to say that we will continue to stand with the Jewish people and the state of Israel, now and for as long as it takes to end this war and ensure the safety of all Israelis. That support from well before roughly 1,200 civilians were attacked and killed in the October 7th attacks to this moment has been unwavering, and it will remain so. From the anti-hate crimes and anti-BDS legislation passed under this very gold dome that I had the honor of signing into law, to the roughly $25 million in active Israel bonds owned by the state of Georgia, the creation of the Georgia-Israel Caucus, the law enforcement exchange programs we participate in, the multiple trips members of my administration have taken to meet with the Israeli government and business leaders in so many other measures, real Georgians want you to know that we have your back, and that we will have Evyatar's back, Guy's back, and the backs of all those still held captive by evil men who pursue hatred rather than peace, bitterness rather than purpose. As we pray without ceasing for the safe return of the hostages and for the safe and peaceful Israel, we are reminded of the hopeful words from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not faint. We put our trust in the Lord, Adonai, and that trust has been rewarded again and again. Less than 3 weeks ago, we saw that faith put into action when military planes from our own country soared on wings like eagles across the globe, undetected, and delivered a crippling blow to the nuclear capabilities of Hamas benefactor, the Iranian regime. That historic operation was a joint venture between the almighty forces of the United States and Israel, and its incredible success is just the latest reminder of what we can achieve when we work together. So we will continue to wait upon and put our faith in the God of Abraham. We will pray and mourn and rejoice together when the innocent are finally returned home and peace is won. And we will not forget these men and women who need our help right now, whose strength we must all work together to renew, who must continue to walk in those dark tunnels by faith and not grow weary. May God bless Evyatar and his fellow hostages. God bless the people in the state of Israel, and may God bless these United States as we proudly stand with our ally against anti-Semitism in all its evil forms. Amen. It is my pleasure to now bring up Evyatar's brother alive to hear some words from him. Welcome.
Before I begin, I want to take a moment to express my deepest thanks to the wonderful Jewish community of Atlanta and to Ora Torah community specifically. Thank you for embracing Evyatar and my family with such warmth and such care. To the Miriam Institute, thank you for your unwavering support from the very beginning. And a special thanks to Benjamin Anthony, who first introduced me to this incredible, incredible community. And finally, to Eden, Barak, Aaron, Governor Kemp, First Lady Kemp, the governor's team, and everyone behind the scenes, thank you for your dedication and for making this event possible. It's more than 21 months since October 7th, and still this day, this October 7th, this disaster still echoes in my mind like it was yesterday. On October 7th, Evyatar and 3 of his friends went to celebrate, to dance on the Nova Festival near the Gazan border. When the attack started and hundreds of terrorists stormed the festival area, they tried to hide. Evyatar and Guy had that gut feeling that something is wrong and they have to split up. Evyatar and Guy found themselves hiding 300 feet from where Ron and Idan, a boy and a girl which became a couple just 2 weeks before the festival, were hiding. Ron and Idan were killed a couple of minutes later, and Evyatar and Guy got kidnapped. They were sent to the dungeons of Gaza, and they were broadcasted on the same day for all the world to see, when they're handcuffed, when they're terrified, when they were looking straight into the camera, in one of Hamas's propaganda videos, trying to make us terrified and horrified as well. But since that day, we understood Evyatar is alive, which was a privilege for us, a sad one, but still a privilege. And we decided as family that no matter what, we will fight until Evyatar is home, on his feet, and we have to stay united as family, because when he comes back, we will be there to support him. Since then, we traveled many times across the Atlantic Ocean, trying to make Evyatar's story, making Guy's story as visible as we can. Evyatar and Guy are childhood friends. They know each other since they're 1. They went to the same kindergarten. They grew up together. They both love the same music, love the same TV shows, same sports. They both play guitar brilliantly. And for the last few years, Evyatar and I are playing music every week at my parents'. It became a tradition. I play the piano and he plays the guitar, and it became a special moment every Friday that we are bonding, having fun as brothers, singing. And anytime I manifest Evyatar's return, I'm thinking about those special moments when he plays the guitar and I play the piano. When the released hostages came back on last February, after the hideous video was released, they told us that there is one thing especially that holds them up down there. And for Evyatar, it was same manifestation that I am manifesting. It was so important for him to tell me through the released hostages that he misses playing music with me, like we did every Friday. And knowing that we manifest the same thing, although we are so far away and so disconnected for so long, really brought me into tears of frustration and joy and hope and pain. Everything came together. But I think it reminded me how strong our connection is, our bond is, and how music is something that connects us. It feels like we are in crucial times right now. And hearing on the news that maybe something is going on right now, for the hostage families, it's a roller coaster of feelings, of ups and downs. Because everything that is happening right now, which is disappointing for us, it's crushing, really. It's crushing, it's devastating. And we went into that roller coaster for many times. And we hope that President Trump, with his government, with Prime Minister Netanyahu, that they all work on a plan that will bring all the hostages, all of them, no separation, not only Evyatar and Guy, but all the hostages, all 50 of them, all these precious souls that are suffering so much right now, will be home, and we will not have to feel this separation again, because I think the Jewish heart has bled enough, and we need to make that stop. So thank you, everyone, for coming here, and please send your prayers, send your focus, your energy to those who are right now in need. They need our prayers. They need our strength to stay hopeful that they will return home eventually, because for them it's the hardest right now. So please, send your prayers to them. And I thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eli. And at this point, we'd like to invite the Consul General to the southeast, Anat Sultan Dadon, to say a few words, and then we'll close it out. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who are here. Thank you, Governor and First Lady, for today, but for your long-standing support of Israel, but more than that, support of the human values that we all share. And I think that is the point that is most important, that for 643 days now, 50 hostages remain in brutal captivity. But for those 643 days, their family members, like Eli and Matan, have been busy day and night, going all around the world, using their voices to remind everyone that this has to end, that they have to return. And I think that your embracement of that is a reminder that it is not only the family members' responsibility. It's a responsibility that we all share. This is not only about them, it is about us. We are not right until they are not all home with us. And so thank you, everyone, for being here. And Eli, I wish for you to play music with Evyatar soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. That will conclude our formal program here. Thank you, Governor Kemp, First Lady Marty Kemp, Eli, Matan, and Consul General. It was wonderful to be together and to share these thoughts. And Eli will be here afterwards to continue to answer questions and to spend some time together. And we appreciate everybody being here. There are flyers on your seats. If anyone would like to learn more, there is a QR code that you can follow. And please continue to raise your voices until all of our hostages are returned. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching ANF Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. To join the conversation on YouTube Live, visit our channel and hit subscribe. You can also listen to the Atlanta News First podcast by searching Atlanta News First on your preferred listening platform.